Hi, we're the Renegades, and if you're wondering, yes, right now we are moving at about 1 frame per second. Here's the thing about that. Imagine us having to do a video like this because of the limitations that we had of the time, where basically, you were just looking at picture books. And then let's add in just a little bit more, around 5 frames per second, per se. And yeah, things are seeming to progress at a fairly normal rate. How about now? Right now, we're moving at about 24 frames per second. And yeah, this seems pretty normal, but it's not. Instead, we would have to go all the way up to 60 frames per second, what you're seeing right now. Nick is... Jesus Christ. You're going to break something. I'm just joking. But, yeah. Animation has been... it's been blessed over the last 10, 20 years with these crazy advancements being made in the digital space that's just made art and animation programs so much more easily accessible to people, to the point where instead of you having a team of 10, I think it was 400 artists working for the span of 2 years to make a single scene for a movie. By the way, the one I'm talking about is the Stampede scene from The Lion King back in 1994. Actually, let me see, how many animators worked on... How many animators worked on Lion King Stampede? Oh. Took 5 animators and technicians over 2 years to complete. That is how many worked on The Lion King itself. Over 600 artists. So yeah, I was a little bit off on that. So 600 artists, animators, and technicians worked over the span of 2 years to basically just make one of the greatest animated films of all time in The Lion King. And I can't believe how much work went into these films, and they still stand out. There's still such a testament to the animation of the time. Same thing with the animations of the 30s, the 40s, all the way up into the modern day. It's unbelievable. But yeah, James has a video here. The Odd Ones Out has a video here where he talks about animation before computers. And I'm interested to see what James has to say, because as he's an artist himself, he's an illustrator, an animator, and everything like that. I want to hear what he thinks of having to do, of seeing the history of animation change so much over the last 20 years. Well, only way we're going to find that out is by giving this video a watch. And as you've noticed, Nick hasn't said anything. Say something, Nick.
Something.
There you go. All right. So anyway, here we go. This is Animation Before Computers by The Odd Ones Out.
When you're watching any animated piece of media, I think it's easy to forget that you're watching drawings move. Excuse me? What kind of Harry Potter dark magic is this? Since when did drawings move? I drew a picture of a dog once, but it hasn't moved at all, not even to play fetch. Well, what you're really watching isn't actually moving. What you're really watching is a series of individual frames played at a rapid speed on a liquid crystal display screen that emit photons into your eyeball receptors that get processed by your brain into what it perceives as movement. It was all a trickery, you see. A ruse that you fell for hook, line, and sinker. Now, a lot of you probably already know about the concept of the frame rate, but what I want you to understand is that in cartoons,
or lack thereof,
or the murder of said thing by doing that in Minecraft.
Head turn, every blink, everything that happens had to be meticulously drawn by a person who studied anatomy and knows about physics and movement, knowing full well that their drawing was only going to be seen for a fraction of a second. And you weren't even watching, you were on your phone. Today, I would like to turn back the sands of time and talk about some of the ways animators were able to achieve the illusion of life without the help of modern technology. I hope by watching you can better understand and appreciate the medium of animation as much as I do, because the amount of dedication and hard work that goes into just making drawings move is unreal. And if you're like me and already know a bit about animation history and find this kind of stuff fascinating, don't worry, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up either. Now, we know
that hits too close to home.
That animation is just copious amounts of drawings being shown in rapid succession. But how the fuck are we going to get people to look at copious amounts of drawings in rapid succession without a computer? Well, believe it or not, there's actually quite a few things we can do without even having to use a camera. One method we can try is by drawing out all of our frames on a stack of paper. I know that's the time-consuming part, but after we're done doing that, we'll hang up all our drawings side by side on a very long wall. Then we'll ride a bike next to the wall and continuously have our head turned facing the wall, and if we pedal fast enough, we'll zip by the drawings so fast that it'll look like they're moving. Hey, look! It's a horse!
Damn it! Hey, look, a horse! Tree. James of the YouTube animated SEB.
That's a pretty good comedic timing, right?
Hey, look, a horse! Watch out for that tree!
I had a feeling something like that was going to happen, but it was just timed really well.
Oh, James, impeccable timing from James there.
Okay, you're probably thinking...
The fact that the bike is part of the cast.
Yes. The bike, like, the seat is coming out of his chest, the handlebars are coming out of his head, and the wheel is just there.
Yeah.
And this dude's just like, man, that was my bike, and he flippin' ruined it.
That's not how animation is made. And you're right, this method of animation is totally impractical, but not impossible. This type of human
that is a really dope idea if you have the balls to, like,
follow through with it.
Graffiti the shit out of a whole long subway tunnel.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it's going to be dark most of the places. So.
And also, you may have to deal with the incoming or oncoming trains.
That's why I'm saying you need balls.
Yeah. Also...
It's not a safe idea, but it is an interesting one.
Yeah. Also, James, come on.
But not impossible.
Hey, Vsauce. Michael here.
This type of human transportational animation has been done before in subway tunnels, with the results looking pretty legit. I mean,
because he feels like it, Nick. I don't like it either, but what are you gonna do?
This minion looks like he's totally moving. I might as well be in the cinema. And for those of the gamer variety, YouTuber Pale of Pears was able to achieve this method of animation flawlessly in Minecraft. But if you wanted to do something more practical, you could instead take your drawings off the really long wall and then stack them up like a book and then just flip through the paper quickly, making a flip book. If you have some sticky notes lying around that you forgot about in a junk drawer somewhere, you can make a pretty simple ball bouncing animation really quickly, with the results being... you know, kind of cool.
By comparison of what most of... You know what? I have a favorite flip book one. You know what it's from? Hold on. Come on. Internet's still being slow as shit. I'm sure you remember these.
I do use mine. Show me.
May I have to like put a thing over this. Well done, Danny.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Well done.
It's actually really good, though. Just like, especially the head pop.
Yeah. And then in the original version, they never show. I think it was an after credits thing, but they never showed this next part.
It's extraordinary. You see the one on the other side?
And it cut away before they showed this.
Still in the clock. Still in the clock. Still in the... Yeah. Got him. Oh, my arm. Oh, my spine.
That's so good. I love classic flip books like that, dude. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who just basically it's easy to do the printout ones because they have ones that they have the like exact square cutouts that you can do, and then you just basically get a paper, like one of those like high-end paper clips, and then just flip through it. It's awesome. It's so cool.
A fun fact, this type of animation was featured in every single copy of the Animorphs books, which I never read.
Know
I would
that. I did read some of those. I had some of those.
just flip through the pages and watch the children in the corner transform into elephants and starfish and this.
What the fuck?
I didn't know that either, dude.
Yo.
Well done, Animorphs.
That's dope.
Well done.
Like, I don't know how I never noticed that.
It's the transitional thing. It's like you don't notice it.
Yeah, well, because I'm probably reading the book and I forgot that at the beginning of the book that was like a person or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm just like, yeah, there's a starfish on every page or whatever.
Yeah.
The children in the
It's
corner
just so
transform
cool,
into
dude. Oh, dang it. Come on.
elephants and starfish and this weird blue alien centaur thing. And what the heck was going on in these books, man?
Weird stuff, man. People got killed by bugs.
Yeah. The yurt.
I was scared as shit of like wasps for a long time because of the one like live action episode where a wasp like basically stung someone in like a phone booth or whatever. It was the bad guys were using them to like infect the good people, you know. So like, I was like, oh no, wasps are terrifying because they do that, and I was, as a stupid kid, I didn't realize it was like an alien thing. It was supposed to be, you know. And then I finally realized that a couple of years later, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Next method of showing people drawings in rapid succession is going to be a little bit crazy. I don't want to freak you out, but it's basically on the same level as rocket science, okay? We're going to have to jump up a whole dimension for this one. What you're going to do is sculpt out a three-dimensional figure of whatever you want to animate.
Claymation.
Let's animate, I don't know, this guy jumping. So first, I'm going to sculpt my guy just standing there, just being a dude. This will be frame 1. Now, okay, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, I see where this is going. You're gonna take a picture of the sculpture, then change its pose slightly, take a picture of that, and then slightly change the pose over and over while continuously starting and
Yes, stop motion animation.
stopping the camera, making it seem like our subject has some sort of motion. No, actually, we're not gonna be doing any of that. Cameras haven't been invented yet in this hypothetical. What we're doing instead is making a whole new sculpture that will be the next frame of our animation. So it'll be our guy again, bending his legs a little bit, getting ready for the jump. All right, neat, that's frame 2. Now let's do this a total of, I don't know, 16 times? That sounds good. Let's also make the 16th sculpture look like it came before the first sculpture. So you understand, it's gonna go from the 16th sculpture back to the first one. It's a loop.
Yeah.
Like tick-tock. We're doing a tick-tock loop. Now we're going to take all 16 of our sculptures and space them out evenly on a round table. Sorry, Arthur, I'm going to need this. Now, make the table spin. That's on you to figure out how to do. I don't know. Maybe get the bike guy from the first example.
Also, they're gonna have to be like well affixed to the table, or the centrifugal force is gonna fling your sculptures all over the room.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Something. I doubt any of you are actually following along, but if you are, put all your sculptures on a spinning table right now. And make it quick, all right? I'm not going to wait for you. Now, for the final step, turn your lights on and off really quickly. And if we did...
I don't think you actually need to do that because we didn't do the other steps. It's also hard to do with these kind of lights.
Everything right, the effect we get is mesmerizing.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Didn't they have one of those in like the one of the Conjuring films or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
They had one of those at Wonderworks. I remember it. It was so cool. It was basically this elephant that trudged up, shook its head, shook its trunk side to side, resettled itself, trudged forward, shook its head. It was so cool. I love that.
What's happening is that the light shines at the first sculpture, and then we turn the lights off. Cool. Then, as the table spins, the light will turn back on when the second sculpture is in the same position as the first. So we turn the lights on when the sculptures are in the same spot, and we turn them off when they're not. And what we end up seeing is all of our figures standing in a circle performing the animation, and we don't even register that the whole thing is spinning. And congratulations, you all know what a zoetrope is now, which I know is a pretty fun word that you can whip out at parties like, yeah, I know a unique word that starts with the letter Z that isn't xylophone. Another fun thing about the zoetrope was that a 3D rendering of one was featured in the Season 2 opening of Mob Psycho 100.
Yes.
Dope.
That's what that spinning thing in the intro was. It was a zoetrope.
Yeah.
Zoetrope. Okay, let's talk about
There's also
one more
a
way
creature in the Tyranid army in Warhammer 40,000 called a zoanthrope. Zoanthrope.
we can show people drawings.
Basically a limbless. I think it might have like tiny like little limbs, kind of like a, not like a T-Rex, but like a bug. It has tiny little limbs up on its abdomen, but it's basically, it looks kind of like a long, slender, like serpent-like one, and it stands on its tail upright, and it's got a big, long, like armored plate that comes out the back of its head. Those are like one of the main like psyker troops in the Tyranid army.
Oh.
They blow shit up with like psionic attacks and stuff.
Damn.
In quick succession without a camera, and it's the easiest method by far. So all we need is this glitchy abstract drawing like this.
I've seen this. You take a polarizing filter over top of it, and you basically create like an animation.
Pretty cool and random, right? Except it's not. It's not random at all. I lied. Every line here is placed very deliberately. Let me show you something. If we take this floppy, transparent sheet full of vertical bars and cover up most of the drawing, hey, look at that. The outline we end up seeing looks like one of them kitty cats. Now, if we slide the transparent sheet over and reveal different parts of the drawing, it looks like a kitty cat but in a different position. And if we keep sliding this sheet over, revealing different parts of the drawing, look at him go. This is called a barrier grid animation, and with the right base drawing, you can make all sorts of animations that don't hurt to look at all. And
I remember when Brustpup did that a long time ago. Dude, that was mind-bending seeing his custom animated ones come to life.
And also, I just want to point out that a barrier grid animation was also featured in the Season 2 opening of Mob Psycho 100. Hey, do you guys want to watch anime later?
I'm down.
I love Mob Psycho 100, James.
It's probably one of his favorites.
Yeah.
Dude, James, I'll watch anime with you. What anime are you watching right now?
Also, did you see when he did the little Sailor Moon thing, did you see who was next to him?
Yeah, his dog was Dimple.
Yeah.
All these different methods of showing people drawings in quick succession. I don't know if there's a word for it, but I'm calling it physical animation. Like animation you can hold and touch with your fingers, you know? All those warrior cat animation memes, that's digital animation, right? This is physical. It's the real deal. But there's one form of physical animation that we haven't talked about yet that's unarguably the most popular and the most important form of physical animation to have ever existed.
Reanimation.
On Earth. Excuse me. Okay, now we're gonna use cameras. Okay,
Also
they
known as
finally
necromancy.
figured it out. With the invention of film, showing people multiple images in quick succession had never been easier. Now we can take something from real life, burn an image of that into a film strip, process it, and then shine a light through it again to get a recreation of the image. And if we roll this whole strip of film over this strobe light, we get moving pictures. That's why they're called movies, because they move. What the fuck? A lot of times, film was used to capture the movements of real people, but it was also used in the same way to capture the movements of people of the animated variety. Let's take a look at an old cartoon. The 1968 animated Batman series. The first time Batman has ever appeared in the animation form. You know, the really old Batman cartoon that had onomatopoeias appear on the screen during fight scenes? Boom! Bah!
Bam! Biff! Bump!
Ka-chow! Except they didn't. They didn't do that in the cartoon. Visually showing the verbiage of impacts was exclusively an Adam West thing.
Yeah.
In the cartoon, you gotta see those impacts. Hey, can I ask you
It's like Mandela effect thing, I guess.
I guess so.
a thought-provoking question? What the f am I looking at? I know it's Batman high-kicking a goon, but how is it moving? This frame was captured on film, so there had to be a physical camera to capture it, right? So where is this drawing?
Oh. Oh.
Alfred's got the puffy fish.
Alfred's just like, I'm going to serve him this pufferfish, and I'm not going to remove the poisonous gills.
It's not on a computer. Computers in the 60s looked like this. So where is this? So every animated movie and animated TV show and animated anime before the year 2000-ish used what's called cell animation. This frame of Batman was hand painted, that's right, painted with special paint onto a transparent celluloid sheet, or cell. And then this transparent sheet was laid on top of a hand-painted background, and then this goon that got kicked, well, he had to be painted on his own cell sheet too, and then this image of sandwiched art was captured onto a film thing, a strip. Then the Batman cell would come off and be replaced by a whole new hand-painted cell of Batman, and then that frame would be captured, and then the whole process would repeat again and again until the shot was done.
Yes.
This one shot that lasted a little over a second used 14 different hand-painted drawings of Batman, and the goon had 6, just for a second. Now, because having to hand paint 20 different images for 1 second is insane, there are some things we can do to cut corners without having to sacrifice too much quality. Like in this shot, Robin takes 5 frames to turn his head, but his body doesn't move, so we can paint his body once on its own cell, and now we only need to paint 5 different heads. And since we already have all the frames painted, we can just use the same frames in reverse to make his head turn the other way. And you don't need to pay a background artist to paint a background if you just use blue.
Hold on. Hey, Robin. Is it okay if I call you Dick? Okay. Well, Robin, real quick question. Do you plan to marry Barbara? What about Starfire? What about Raven? Oh. Wait. Cyborg?
if you just use blue. A big part of cell animation was being able to animate pieces of a character independently of each other. That's actually why so many old cartoon characters had accessories around their necks, so the animators could separate the characters.
Little animation tricks to basically save on budget. And honestly, anime does that too. Anime does that too with a lot of their baseline animations. They repurpose them and reuse them, and I think it's perfectly normal. Nothing wrong with that. Also, I don't know what makes me uncomfortable. What makes me more uncomfortable? Like Jane with her head floating off, or Scooby with his head floating off while looking up Fred's skirt. What the fuck, Scooby?
Heads from their bodies, making it easier to animate. Fred wasn't rocking that ascot just because it was trendy. One of the nice things about using a computer to animate is that you can play back what you've animated and clearly see if your timing is correct and if there's any quick adjustments you can make. Being able to see what your previous frames are is so important there's actually a term for it called onion skinning. But animators pre-2K didn't have computers to re-watch their work, so here's what they did instead. Before they even put paint onto a cell, they first had to draw all their frames out onto a piece of paper, and they didn't work on the frames in chronological order. Like, they didn't go, okay, I just drew the first frame of Batman. Okay, here's the second frame of Batman. Okay, I'm gonna go do the third frame of Batman.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mappa Studio staff.
Okay, you do the fourth frame, though.
Also, I guess now we know what James's character's skeleton looks like on the inside, canonically.
Yeah, I can see it.
That way of animating is called straight-ahead animation.
Wait, hold on. He has toes. Why does this James not have toes?
Okay, you do the fourth frame, though.
Maybe the idea is that he's wearing an all-white bodysuit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Of animating is called straight-ahead animation,
Therefore,
and
he's
some
also not nude all the time.
True.
people use it, but the results look pretty chaotic. But it's still used pretty effectively for effects and concert visuals.
Also,
but
did you see what just happened there? Like, it happens a lot. So he doesn't have fingers
it's
right
still
here,
used
right?
pretty effectively for
Next scene.
effects and concert visuals. But most of the time,
Right there, he has fingers. I'm sure
Yeah.
if he wanted to wiggle his toes, he would just animate toes.
I'd much rather him not.
Yeah, me either.
We already get enough cake in this shit. We don't need feet to go along with it.
animators will animate a character from pose to pose. They'll draw out all the important key poses a character will make on paper,
Keyframes.
and then they'll hold the pieces of paper between each of their fingers and then quickly flip between their drawings just to get an idea of what a drawing that goes in between those key
animators.
poses would look like. That's called in-betweening, just so you know. And they still wouldn't be able to get a full playback of their animation until every pencil drawing was captured on film and processed. They just had to trust their page flipping technique and their highly trained eyeballs and go, yeah, that looks about right. Let's bring out
I
the
don't think
paint
I ever
and
would have been able to do that.
Me neither.
Even if I got good enough at drawing, I don't think I ever would have been able to make my brain, like, remember the frames in between and stuff.
Well, in between animators, like their demands are basically not. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it is more laid out than the keyframe animators. But the keyframe animators don't have to do as many illustrations or anything like that because all they draw are keyframes.
And because there are hundreds of shots all having to be animated without a computer, can you really blame the animators that some shots of Batman looked like this? Or this? It was old, remember? Old things are bad. Okay, I kind of have a secret. Remember when I said, let's look at an old cartoon? Well, I might have overemphasized how old the Batman cartoon is. By the time the Batman cartoon came out, the movie Bambi had been out for 25 years. And are you aware of how f***ing fluid the animation in Bambi is? Dude, Bambi goes so f***ing hard. Walt literally brought in deer from the f***ing woods into their studio just so the animators could be like, oh, that's neat. That's how deers move. I understand this more now. What the I honestly thought the Batman
like
show
his derpy
came
deer.
out way or now. What the
Yeah. Deer's a little wall-eyed.
I honestly thought the Batman show came out way earlier in the animation timeline because of how it looked. Obviously, these two things were created by different studios with different animators.
Well, Disney at this point had the 9 old men at their disposal. And by the 9 old men, I mean 9 of the greatest animators ever to exist in American history. Have you ever looked them up? The 9 old men? Dude, they were paramount to Disney's success. And Walt loved working with those guys. Let's see. The 9 old men. There they are. Frank Thomas, Ollie Johnston, Jim Lounsbury, Mark Davis, Ward Kimball, Wooly Reiterman, Les Clark, Eric Larson, and Milt Kahl. Yeah. These men were the backbone of basically everything. And yeah, they went from all the way from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to The Rescuers. That was their last film. Like, they worked together all those years, and The Rescuers was like their last film where they were all together. And it's unbelievable. And you know, they came back to work on a lot of things. You know, they came back to work on the Great Mouse Detective, which I personally think is the beginning of the Disney Renaissance, and not The Little Mermaid. Yeah, I said it. I don't care. But when you look at Bambi, the principal animators for everything, you know, Les Clark, Mark, Ollie, all of them are just right there. Like, everyone, like, gosh, everyone back then just knew how to do their job. Also, basic principles of animation: squash and stretch, anticipation, staging, straight ahead action, pose to pose, follow through and overlapping action, slow in, slow out arcs, secondary action, timing, exaggeration, solid drawing, and appeal. Those were their 12 principles. And pretty basic principles of animation. I mean, nowadays you don't have to really follow that because there's a lot to make up for those little missteps and hiccups. Yeah, but man, really would have loved to have at least met some of these old guys, because just to be able to pick their brains on like all the little things that they had to do for the animations, I'd probably just go giddy just from it. By the way, here's a picture of the 9 old men. Like, I think this was the last time they were all together. So yeah. Pretty cool stuff.
And different budgets, and TV animation always has to create more animation per budget, but all the same techniques and equipment used to make an episode of Batman were the exact same techniques and equipment used to make an episode of Bambi. I don't mean that as a dunk on Batman. I'm more so impressed with how amazing Bambi looks, especially since while it came out, World War II was currently happening. So because celluloid sheets were used to animate every TV show, movie, and anime there has ever been before the year 2000-ish, by my calculations, there are millions of cell sheets out there. Like this single frame of Batman kicking, it's on a cell sheet somewhere. And more importantly, who owns it? Many of the cells that still exist have been sold to the general public. But because of how the paint and time works, cell sheets need to be kept very well preserved. So since cells are very hard to preserve, and because they're not making any new ones, some cells are worth a lot of money. This cell and original background from My Neighbor Totoro.
Ooh. 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 Oh my god. Okay. I gotta know. Is there an animation cell from Princess Mononoke? Please let there be one. Oh, there it is. Dude. Okay. Oh my, dude. Just one of Ashitaka by himself is going for $2,000. That is... Oh. Dude, look at that. Look at that shit. Just a random... Wait. That's when he's feeding... Yakul. His elk. Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
Akira.
Akira. Okay, let's check and see if Akira has one or has some for sale. Oh, yep. Holy shit!
I will never own one of those.
Woo!
That'd be fucking dope to have, yeah.
Dude, look at these. Oh my god. Oh.
Also, just the fact that that movie was made with cell animation still. Like, it looks like computer animation. Like, it is crazy how they did that.
Dude, that is... Oh. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Like, if I had fuck you money, I'd probably buy something, like, from that just because of how much... Well, just from Princess Mononoke because of how much it means to me. I know you'd buy for Akira and maybe a few others. But, dude... if anything, I would want
one
these
from Akira. I would want some from Gundam.
Gundam would be good.
Especially Lean. Evangelion.
I just thought of one.
Yeah, Bebop. For sure.
Oh, dude. They have some. Come on. Oh, one of Faye.
For $3,000 some dollars.
Yep. Animation cell of Spike.
$2,800 Spike.
That's Faye just after she woke up. Oh, there's Ed. Yeah. That one right there I'd love to have. It even has the original, like, oh, dude, the original notes on it, too. I wonder if those are Watanabe's notes.
I don't know. It's pretty cool, though.
Dude. Oh. I love it. I love it, dude. I really wish I could get one of these. I really do.
Maybe one day we'll be rich enough.
One
to own
day,
animation
ladies
cells
and gentlemen, we shall...
and stuff we like.
Yes, of course.
I mean, it's a good investment because it'll probably just increase in value the older it gets.
Well,
as
especially
long
if we
as you
take
manage
care
to
of
keep
it, dude.
Alive for, you know.
Well, dude, I would happily take care of it, and I would happily, like, just hold on to it for the heritage of it because of how much these films and how much these shows mean to me. And it's just like an original animation cell from The Lion King or from Aladdin or any of those. I'd love to have some of those.
You know what else I just thought about?
What else did you just thought about?
That I think, due to the way it was made, might actually have some available, despite the fact that it's obviously post-computer era. Okami.
You know, I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Because supposedly the Okami graphics were hand-painted.
God dang it! Here we are. Open. Look. Okay.
Guess not.
No. But I would love some OG artwork from Okami. You know, from like studio, like Clover Studios.
Damn. Or Beautiful Joe. I think that
Oh,
might have,
yeah. Dude.
that might not be done the same way as Okami, though.
Maybe not, but honestly, I don't know. These films are just these films. The impact they've had on me has just been so enormous that I just don't have words. Anyway, sorry.
Sold for $84,000. While I'm writing the script, there's currently an auction going on for this cell from the Jungle Book for $10,000. And I own this cell of Squidward Laughing that I got at a convention for $300. It's not an original background. The background's a print, and it's actually not even the correct background for the shot. But I'm just pointing out that not all cells are thousands of dollars. You know, they made millions of these, so you can get a cell from a TV show for a couple hundred, and then you get to own a frame of animation that belongs to you now, which I think is super cool. This moment of Squidward laughing belongs to me, and you can't have it. So if you ever visit some friends who really like cartoons, there's a good chance that they have an animation cell somewhere on display. And those are just a handful of ways that animators were able to achieve the illusion of life without a computer. And I do just want to say, just because something was animated on a computer doesn't make it any less artistic. Yes, computers make the process easier and more streamlined, absolutely. It's still a human expressing their creativity and being in control of that. Did you hear me? It's a human expressing themselves and being in control of creativity.
As in a human, not an AI.
Yes. Also, look at the faces on all these ugly fuckers. What the fuck is going on here? Why does he have 3 eyes?
This top left's just Darth Vader mowing the lawn with a shitty looking lawnmower.
Yeah. Kermit the Frog, instead of being like, "Hi everybody, welcome, this is Kermit the Frog here," instead he'd be like, "I have a third leg growing out of my ass." Oh god. Dude, look at Clifford. That's terrifying.
It's cursed. The JoJo's up there is pretty cursed too.
Look at Yoda. Look at that. He's like
Yoda has no mouth, yet he must scream.
Actually, I can hear Yoda talking. He's like, "In car accident I was. Seatbelt I did not wear."
Jesus Christ, man.
Creatively. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about animation history. There's still quite a few things that I didn't get to cover, like...
Hey, see? 12 Principles and the 9 Old Men. Hell yes. But I did. I mentioned them, James. I'm on there with you.
How did Walt animate this panning, parallaxing shot of Bambi where the trees move on separate layers? What kind of technology did they create to make trees move at different speeds?
Layers of cells.
Multi-plane camera, yeah. Basically, the camera, the camera could focus in on the frame and could actually move with it. It was so intricate how they were able to get that to work.
So much hard work and talent is involved in every piece of animation you see, and because of animation, we're able to tell incredible stories that are nothing like anything we ever see in our day-to-day lives. And before I go, can we talk about the intro to the Batman series, please? Oh my god. I just want to go over some...
Yeah, that's literally like an epilepsy fit.
Quick announcements. I'll be quick, don't worry. The Scribble Showdown Tour is coming back in January to a...
Come to the East Coast. We miss y'all, man.
City near you, but this time the kiddies aren't invited. That's right, only the adults this time. leave the children at home with the babysitter. If you're like me and are behind on your Christmas shopping, there's some new holiday merch in the merch store, so check it out. But if the shipping won't get there in time, then there's also the Oddballs graphic novel available in retail stores like Target and Barnes & Noble and Walmart. I'll probably see you all in the new year, so Happy New Year. Thank you.
That. Jesus. Okay. That was interesting. That was very interesting. I mean, holy shit. The animation before computers, once again, just not saying like the stuff that comes out nowadays is bad or anything like that. As a matter of fact, a lot of the stuff that comes out nowadays is really, really good. But you can't just discredit and throw stuff away like, oh, but it's old. It's old. I don't like it because it's old. It's like, dude, grow up. Like, some of the oldest animations out there are what made the animations of today possible. Anyone out there who would say otherwise is just talking out of their ass and doesn't understand the depths that animation was at and what it went through and everything. It's insane. It's literally insane just like how animation just continued to march forward, and what took teams of like 600 people working around the clock to make something happen now can be accomplished for a fraction of that with like digital animations that is just impossible by the standards of which everything started. But
I'd say if you took some of the newer episodes of like Jujutsu Kaisen and tried to create them by cell animating in the same way they used to do, it would probably have taken them like 20 years for an episode.
That's no doubt about it.
But
See,
computers have made it possible to do things in animation that we never would have seen otherwise. So,
well, yeah, I mean, like you were mentioning, like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, like how they're able to control digital animation in a 3D space is just unbelievable. It truly is. It is unbelievable. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say at this point, everyone. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. This was Odd Ones Out with animation before computers. And I guess until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
And don't forget to wear your seatbelt. Don't worry, James. I got you. I got you covered. So until next time, everybody. Peace.